Gonzaga Nation SI with Adam Morrison and myself, Dan Dickau, where we bring you all the Gonzaga content throughout the course of the regular season and now leading into the postseason. Want to give a big thank you to our show sponsor today. That is Brick West Brewing in downtown Spokane on the West End. Go check them out. Their tasting room, they've got a number of craft beers. Brick by Brick is one that I've tried recently. You can pick it up in yolks, as well as many of their other flavors and offerings. Is pretty darn good stuff. So I know Adam and I are looking forward to checking them out a little bit more as this basketball season wraps up. But Mo, you were down in Vegas. Tell us a little bit about your journeys and what you saw.
It was another Spokane South experience where there's a lot of Gonzaga fans, and obviously it was nice for the team to cap up the hard-fought regular season championship and then do it against the good St. Mary's team that beat them the game before.
When there's such a great fan base that travels down to Las Vegas, it can almost become every time you turn around, you see a familiar face or you see somebody wearing Gonzaga gear. Have you ever found yourself in an awkward position where you're just like, all right, we saw the same game. We saw it from a different perspective. Let's move on to them. Because I've had that many times and it can get uncomfortable.
I guess, yeah, some people get upset when I guess the betting lines don't match up with what they bet. And that part is always like, well, don't bet on sports as the answer. And I know it's simple and that probably infuriates and puts gasoline on the fire a little bit, but I kind of do that just to be like, well, you're mad that they won by 17 and not 18 or whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing we can do. And I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, sometimes there's some issues with people being upset when there's still a lot of success with the team, which I never understand.
That kind of brings up a quick side story that I had based on an experience with somebody who I knew that used to love to gamble on sports at any and all stages of college or pros. And this person told me about a bet that they made before I knew them and got to know them through different golf events and stuff. He won $40,000 when I was with the New Orleans Hornets because I hit a three as the buzzer went off to cover the spread.
Mm-hmm.
That was a story that he told me that I wanted to ask him for a cut of. I wish I would have to this day gotten a cut, but obviously as athletes, we don't need to know that while we're in the moment. It's fun to hear those stories later on, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, when you're playing, stay away. You saw the Calvin Ridley deal, so like that's a real thing. But obviously, like in some games, you can hear the crowd cheering at the end of a game when there's a free throw made and the game's out of hand. You automatically know what that meant. So it's kind of funny to see the integration now where it's more out in the open than it used to be.
Yeah, it is out in the open nowadays. I mean, you're even seeing on network studio shows they're talking about the lines. But enough about that. Gonzaga had a great trip down. It's a business trip, it seems like. I mean, 23 straight years now in the NCAA tournament. Another automatic bid was won against St. Mary's, 82-69. When I watched the game, to me, Andrew Nembhard controlled that game similar to how Tommy Kuhse unfortunately controlled it down in Moraga. What were your thoughts sitting courtside?
Yeah, I think, early, kind of like in the previous game in Moraga, they did a good job on Drew Timme and kind of stifled his ability to score. So what happened was, I think Andrew and Rasheer did an excellent job of pushing the pace and kind of flattening the defense, and it really helped us to get in a better rhythm offensively. And that's the biggest key against a team like St. Mary's is you have to push the basketball, you have to play at your pace, you have to get into the seams offensively, you have to get into the paint. I mean, all that stuff sounds cliche, but if you allow them to play in their gap system and push you beyond the perimeter, beyond your normal your entry levels or where you catch the ball, and just simple things like that. They're really good defensively. So I thought Andrew did a nice job probably after the first media timeout of kind of, getting thrust towards the rim every single time, especially on outlets. And Rasheer did the same thing where it was outlet push. Even if you don't score, you flatten the defense, and then all your secondary action on your ball reversals is not extended outside the three, and then the guys are not sitting in gaps, waiting for you. So yeah, he had a fantastic game, not just scoring it, but like a floor game as well.
Yeah, that's one of those small details that is so important. Flatten the defense, and it's two-part. It's wings getting out and running deep corners or bigs rim runs, as well as guards. Push it and probe as far as you can, and then kind of set up the offense if nothing opens itself up. But the other thing that I saw, and correct me if what I saw on TV was different than what you saw in person, is St. Mary's was really physical. It gave Drew a little bit of struggles at times, even though he played better than he did in Moraga. Chet some foul trouble. Do you see that as a recipe for other teams attacking Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to watch the tape on those two games and see how St. Mary's slowed us down to a certain degree. I think the matchup with Taz is more of just an issue for Drew. And I don't think he played terrible. I think just Taz is just a big body that it sounds funny, but he can't jump, so he doesn't bite on the up fakes. He just stays there. And usually Drew gets people to lift fake, and then he counters off of that. So I think it just was an interesting matchup for Drew. And sometimes we've all played against guys at certain levels, at the collegiate level that, you and I were obviously great players offensively that maybe had our number a little bit defensively. It doesn't completely shut you down, but it makes you a little bit off rhythm or does something that you're not normally used to. But, it wouldn't be shocking if other teams kind of employ the same mindset when they play against us in the NCAA tournament. Get physical, push them outside their normal scoring areas, slow it down, all the things that St. Mary's had success doing.
Coach Few has always embraced winning the automatic bid, the WCC tournament title. He's always encouraged guys to enjoy it and part of the reason why is because there is such a gap between the WCC tournament selection Sunday and you play again. So you can kind of really have a night and enjoy it. I remember we played in San Diego. We ended up getting to stay an extra bit in San Diego, and they redid our flights. What were your memories of enjoying a tournament title?
We played the first one in Santa Clara my freshman year. It was fun, and we had remember that old Marriott with the open foyer down there in the cul-de-sac. So then I remember coming back from the game, and it was, all the student section and then a lot of the Gonzaga fans, and they like literally took over that whole hotel for the whole night. And, we weren't of drinking age, but everybody was drinking and having a good time. So yes, things like that were fun times. I never played in Vegas, obviously. So, I think some of the guys have had some, pretty cool options for even if they're not of age to kind of go out and do cool stuff, which is a neat thing for the younger guys. So yeah, I think it's cool that Coach Few, it's not like a Laos party, but just says like, hey, have fun. You should enjoy it. We shouldn't be ho-hum about this. It's harder to win your league than people think, and we shouldn't take it for granted because, just look around other places where teams are good for a decade and then they have a 5-year drought or what have you. Like, let's celebrate this success and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's one thing I think Coach Few's always done a good job of keeping things in perspective. And you're 100% right. Winning a league title, winning a tournament title is unbelievably difficult. So you need to enjoy those milestones along the way. Well, it looks like Portland is the destination. We'll know for sure in a few days, and we'll break it down at that point. But what plans do you have in mind if it's Portland? Because obviously you'll be there early. There's a day off in between. You're taking the golf sticks down. What do you have for plans?
No, I'll just ready up on the opponents really to get ready. It's a lot. broadcaster, we're not familiar, so you kind of have to study up and then get ready to call a good game. And hopefully it is in Portland for our fans. It's a 4.5, 5 hour drive, and then obviously the flight's short, so it'd be nice. But like Coach V would say, we'll go anywhere and play, obviously. So we'll see what the Selection Sunday brings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Selection Sunday. As I mentioned, we will be breaking it down early next week. But to wrap up today's show, we've got our listener question brought to you from the Northern Quest Casino in the Epic Sports Bar. The madness is here and bigger than ever at Epic Sports Bar with food and drink specials, prize giveaways, and more all tournament long. Grab your bracket and post up at the best tournament spot in town. Details at northernquest.com. And Adam, we had a question come in from Seth O'Neill, and his question is, Adam and Dan, do you guys have any pregame superstitions or rituals that you needed to do as a player?
For me, that question is kind of loaded. I still am a type 1 diabetic. So the pregame ritual was, a certain type of meal at a certain time, a gap between the game time. And then I took a nap after shoot around. I was one of those guys. I felt like it just, kind of relaxed your mind and then allowed you to, obviously get a little bit of extra energy. So yeah, I kind of had, a pregame routine, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I had a pregame routine as well. Mine wouldn't have been as detailed with timing of a big meal like yours, but I always was a 30-minute nap guy. If I got more than about 45 minutes, I was groggy and I had to figure out a way to get myself going after too long of a nap. But it was a 30-minute pregame nap, and then I used to eat a protein bar exactly 1 hour before tip-off. It's one of those goofy things that as athletes, kind of something happens in a positive way, one way, doing something, you carry it over the rest of your career. So great show, great episode, Adam. Looking like Portland is going to be where we are at. We'll know for sure on Sunday, but this conference tournament week has been tremendous. There's a lot of other good games this week. So thanks again for joining. He's Adam Morrison. I'm Dan Dickau for Gonzaga Nation SI.